Welcome back, everybody, to Transfer Weekly. This now episode number 11 here on the Feeder series. We got a very exciting episode coming up for you once again. We are going to be covering in this week's show FIA Formula 3. We're going to be covering the F1 Academy as well. And we're going to be previewing Formula 3 and Formula 2 with our special guest. A welcome to the show, Aldas. Thank you very much for joining us on the show. It's great to have you with us. I know you're a big fan of the Feeder series. Just tell us where that all started for you.
I guess for me, it's just kind of a natural. I mean, I love motorsport. I love Formula One. And especially when I started making content, you want to kind of delve even deeper. So not just into Formula One, but see kind of the new talent, coming up. And there is so much amazing racing, in the lower formulas. And I feel like the best weekends are the one where it's like almost all three, Formula 3, Formula 2, Formula 1. Like those are the weekends where it's just motorsport from start to finish. I absolutely love them. So yeah, I can't wait to actually get back to that this year. But yeah, always up for talking, about the feeder series categories, because yeah, there's always interesting drivers, interesting storylines. You're looking at the future, potentially looking at some people that might be in Formula One, trying to almost like spot yourself, like the talent, always play that game of, that obviously the teams have to do. So yeah, that's also something that's quite fun as well. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much for it. It's great to have you on. Couldn't agree more. And someone else who really loves the Feeder series is our head of social here at Feeder series. That is Yasmin Western. Yas, thank you very much for joining us on the show as well. Great to have you with us for the first time. You've been so busy with announcements that this is the first time you've been able to join us.
Yeah, definitely. It's always been one of those things. I've said I stay behind the screen. I'm never on it. But kind of 10 months into being at Feeder series, I finally been called up to be on the screen. So really excited to be here and talk about what I talk about every day, which is Feeder series announcements.
It's going to be great stuff. Now, before we get into the announcements, Aldas, I just want to come to you quickly because you had some exciting announcements yourself last week as well. I know you're going to be hosting a bit of a show down at F1 Arcade. Absolutely fantastic if you haven't checked it out already. Why don't you tell us a little bit more of what we can expect there?
Yeah, so I mean, first of all, the idea kind of came from me going to actually another live show from some other YouTubers with a channel called Quick Stop F1, who I'm big fans of, and they did their own show last year, and I was just super inspired. I mean, I know that I have a relatively large audience, which is just unbelievable even to myself. I'm so thankful that people do watch my content. But I thought you want to engage more with the fans, you want to engage with people that might want to talk F1 or even feed a series in real life. So yeah, then I kind of talked to Tom about it, went backwards and forwards about the idea, and we wanted to do a live show, and we were able to get it done at the F1 Arcade, which I think just kind of will make it even better. So we managed to sell out in just over a day, 85 tickets. It should be an amazing show, a chance to kind of, again, meet fans in real life, talk Formula One, have debates as well. We love that. There's going to be obviously, a bar there as well, so you can grab like food and drinks. So yeah, and also the F1 simulators are there as well. So we just wanted to make a really fun evening for, for F1 fans, have a little bit of a show there, and again, just get everyone involved, which is what it's all about. But if this one goes well, we're hoping to make it bigger and better in the future. So yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing for that. And it's on Monday, the 27th of February. So right after testing and right before the beginning of the F1 season.
Yeah, perfect timing. I know you'll definitely be in the simulators. You'll race it yourself, aren't you? I know you do some karting. You did some down at Rye House. I used to do the commentating for the Pro Kart series down there. I know you race down there yourself sometimes, right?
Yeah, so I mean, the funny thing is actually I am terrible on a sim and I'm way better in a car, because it actually kind of came from that in terms of I never really clicked with simulators. And so once I started karting, it was just like that was it for me. That's what I wanted to do, on my days off. I'm not on the junior ladder. You won't be seeing me in Formula One anytime soon. But yeah, it's just something that, I started first of all in rental karts, really caught the bug in kind of 2021, the back end of 2021. And then, yeah, I just wanted to go kind of up and up from there. Started racing in pro karts in the Rye House Pro Kart Championship, which was just absolutely amazing. And endurance racing is definitely, because I have some friends that race kind of road taxes and it's kind of, heats, 10 minutes, 12-minute races. But endurance is the one for me. I love the physical challenge, the mental challenge. And in a weird way, and I've kind of always said this, when I did start karting 2 years ago, and especially a kind of a bit of a higher level against a lot better drivers, it gives me a bit of a different appreciation for what Formula One drivers do and kind of the mental aspect and the pressure, especially when you're on track. So yeah, it's kind of helped me even in that kind of in that sense as well. But yeah, looking forward to doing just more karting. It's just for fun, but I absolutely love it. And I love competing as well.
Yeah, it's a fantastic series, by the way. 4-hour endurance races they do down there on a very physically demanding circuit where Lewis Hamilton started his career, of course. Okay, this is Transfer Weekly, so let's start talking transfers. As I said at the top of the show, we've got 3 in Formula 3 to cover, and we've also got a couple to cover in the F1 Academy as well. Let's start with Formula 3 then. The new team coming to the grid, PHM Racing by Charouz, announced 2 of their 3 drivers last week. The first driver, they announced someone making a return after 2 years away, and that is Sophia Floersch. She comes back to the series. She, of course, raced in Formula 3 in 2020. The last female on the grid before that was Tatiana Calderon. Since then, Aldas, she's been away. She's done some DTM, World Endurance. She's taken on the 24-hour of Le Mans, the small matter of that, a couple of times as well. So definitely some big challenges for her there, some big races, and now she's returned to Formula 3. But so great to see her back on the grid, isn't it?
It definitely is. I think even aside from the racing, I think as a character, she's a very interesting person, and I think it adds more to the feeder series in general. And she was very kind of honest about the fact that she wants, she's got a packed calendar in terms of doing all of that endurance. She did a bit of DTM, I know, and she really enjoyed her time, I think, in endurance. But you could see that there was, and I want to kind of give a shout out to you guys actually, because you did an interview with her a few months ago, I think, on this channel. And you could see that she still has that single-seater bug. There's no doubt about it, as much as she enjoys the endurance. And she was talking about, testing quite a bit at the end of last year. So, yeah, I think this was almost inevitable. And I do hope that it goes well for her, because it's very difficult in Formula 3. And especially, I suppose the only thing that's kind of a little bit frustrating from my side is she's only in one of the teams at the kind of the lower end of the grid. We know Charouz, obviously, they're not kind of the one of the top ones. And you want to see that kind of, she is right up there in terms of the female talent. You want to see them in the best teams, but it is going to be one of those it's going to be one of those, progresses for her in terms of what kind of results can she get, this year with all the experience that she's had now with endurance racing, single seaters. Obviously, Le Mans is really kind of, I think big on her mind as well. So she's got all of that racing experience, but hopefully we can see her kind of get even further up the grid and potentially even attract maybe some seats, further up the grid for next season. So yeah, she's a really good driver, great character as well, which again, I think just adds to the appeal of that kind of the junior formulas. So yeah, looking forward to seeing how she's going to do, but because she does have quite a big name, actually, she's going to have a lot of pressure, which I'm sure she's used to. So yeah, looking forward to seeing how it goes.
Yeah, likewise. It only turned 22 years old in December as well. So time's still definitely on her side. And judging by her announcement, I don't really think this was entirely planned for her this season, but we do wish her the best of luck. Okay, let's move then to one of her teammates for this season. And that is going to be someone brand new to Formula 3. That is the Brazilian driver, Roberto Faria, who's going to be making the step up from GB3. He finished 5th in the last 2 seasons of that championship. So he's going to have the task of trying to learn most of the circuits, Yasmin. I mean, he's going to know Spa and Silverstone, but Zach O'Sullivan proved that if you can get your head around the car, then you can go and get some good results.
Definitely 100%. As you said, he's done a couple of seasons in GB3 now. So in terms of that Formula 3 style of competition, he's got plenty of experience there, but it's going to be exciting to see what he can do on the international stage. Obviously, one of the disadvantages of doing GB3 is that you don't get used to those kind of more European tracks that are going to be used in FIA Formula 3, like you do in FRECA, Euro Formula Open, that sort of thing. So he's going to have that to tackle. But like you said, Zach's done amazingly this year. So I definitely don't think we should count him out. Also, again, Charouz, they are kind of, one of the back marker teams, but then they've got the support from PHM coming in, and they've been showing really positive signs in the winter seasons. They've got Taylor Barnard doing absolute bits in the PHM car at the moment. So PHM know what they're doing, and hopefully they can bring some kind of high level competition into Charouz, and they might be a surprise this season.
Yeah, as you said, out in the Middle East, they are doing fantastic things, aren't they? And Roberto has tested the car. He was at Jerez. He did test with ART and Van Amersfoort as well. So he's not going to be coming in completely blind at Bahrain when we go testing this week. We'll talk a bit more about that. But first of all, we got to clear up our other driver announcement. That's going to be a familiar name to you. He remains at Campos Racing for another season. He was the youngest driver on the grid last year, and that is Spaniard Pepe Martí, who is going to be back for his second season. He jumped up from Spanish F4 last year, Aldas, and I think had a pretty strong season given he was the youngest driver, a rookie, got in the points at the end of the season there, and I think that's going to give him some confidence, isn't it, going into this year?
I mean, you talked about it in terms of his age. I completely forgot how young he actually is. I mean, I think it's
Yeah.
only his third season, I think maybe in single seaters. So he's still only 17 years of age. But yeah, he had a bit of, I think it was a learning year for him. There's no doubt about it. Ended the year a lot stronger, which I think is a very good sign for this year. But I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on him because he's part of the Fernando Alonso kind of A14 management. And this year in Formula 3, I mean, we have such a stacked grid. There's so many amazing drivers. And obviously, you know, Nikola Tsolov, who's also part of that Fernando Alonso Academy, there is direct competition right there. You know, he's already had that kind of year. So in a weird way, he's already got that pressure of he's got to beat Nikola because, you know, Nikola comes in with this kind of amazing reputation of what he's done in, you know, Spanish F4. So there's going to be pressure, and he's already got 1 year under his belt. How is he going to do, you know, at Campos in his second year? It's just kind of another kind of storyline, I think, to watch out for in F3, that you've got this, you know, Fernando Alonso Academy, and they're going to be in a shootout, I suppose, to see who's going to get to Formula 2 as well. So yeah, I think he had an okay kind of, you know, first season. Again, you got to remember his age. I mean, again, he's only 17 now. So yeah, but you don't get a lot of time to grow in single seaters. You've got to be you got to do it at whatever age you are. So yeah, looking forward to seeing how he does.
Yeah, he has to really lead that team, doesn't he? But he did certainly do that in post-season testing, was in the top 5 in all but one of the 6 sessions and was quickest in one of them as well. So was one of the top 5 drivers overall. So let's see how he does in testing this week. Okay, let's move from Formula 3 to the F1 Academy then. They've had a couple of announcements this week. We'll start with Carlin, who announced their first driver, and that is someone stepping up from GB4, young Jessica Edgar. She's going to be making the step up. She finished 7th in GB4 last year in her first ever season racing single seaters. Took a podium there as well. Yasmin, what did you make? I know you watched the GB3 and the GB4 series. What did you make watching Jessica last season?
I'm so excited for Jess for this season. She is exactly the kind of person that you want to be seeing getting into those F1 Academy seats. Obviously, we've seen a couple of the announcements now, and there have been some W Series drivers that have kind of taken a step back, but I think Jess is exactly the kind of driver that F1 Academy is made for. You know, she was very good in karting. She's one of the most successful female drivers in karting. She's one of the very few female drivers and the first female driver actually to have won more than one round in the LGM category of karts. So not only does she come from racing pedigree, being Johnny Edgar's cousin, and also dad's grandparents, uncles have all raced, she, you know, has that kind of past experience behind her, and she did really well in GB4 in her first season in cars. So I'm really excited to see what she can do. And she's with Carlin, which are obviously one of the really high level teams in single seater junior series. So I'm really excited for her.
Yeah, and just staying with you, Yasmin. I mean, I remember Jess when she was in Kartmasters, got on the podium there as well. Really exciting stuff. But another driver, you mentioned W Series drivers maybe stepping back. One of those is Nerea Martí. She's going to be moving across from W Series to F1 Academy. Had a good couple of seasons, didn't she? Taking some podiums. So this is a very exciting signing for Campos Racing, who announced that Nerea Martí will be racing in F1 Academy with them this season.
Yeah, definitely. I think Nerea was one of those talents that was maybe kind of overshadowed a little bit by the big names that we had in W Series. So I am really excited to see her get a second chance and kind of hopefully be one of those drivers that can be kind of, you know, fighting at the front, because she did show huge potential, especially in that 2021 season where she scored points in every race. She got her first podium and, you know, she came 4th overall, which, you know, considering the tightly packed field that it was in the midfield of W Series, is really impressive. I would have loved to have seen what she could have done in 2022. And obviously she's tested a couple of times in F3. So, you know, we were maybe thinking, would she kind of make a step up? But obviously she has kind of gone down to F1 Academy. But obviously, yeah, I'm really excited to see what she can do. And hopefully she'll be one of those fighting at the front and fighting for the championship.
Yeah, she's essentially going from a FRECA car to an F4 car. So that experience, those are tough cars to drive. She's going to be definitely going for the title. Aldas, what do you make of F1 Academy? I know it's had mixed opinions so far. We've got 4 drivers on the grid so far, some coming from W Series, some stepping up now from F4. Well, what do you make of the concept of F1 Academy? Do you think it's something that could work?
In terms of whether it can work, I think we're going to have to wait and see on that, because there's a lot of pressure on Formula One to make it work. Because from what I heard, the reason why they didn't give the support to W Series is because ultimately they didn't own W Series. What Formula One wanted, and whether it's right or wrong, you know, we're going to have to wait and see. Ultimately, the results are going to be, you know, the answer. But the reason why they didn't kind of give that financial support to W Series is because they didn't own it, and they wanted ownership. They wanted kind of their own brand so that they can put the drivers on their own ladder. So, Formula 3, Formula 2. And that's something, everything, even going back to the license points, Formula One really want that pyramid to kind of, grow drivers and then potentially get them into Formula One. And as much as I think there was support for W Series, there definitely wasn't enough of it. But is this kind of a better, is this kind of a better route to get younger female drivers, into single seater racing? Again, I think it probably is because W Series couldn't quite, they didn't want to financially kind of support it. And the W Series kind of really struggled last year to, even finish the season, which is not great to see. So what is the answer? And ultimately, Formula One have come up with this F1 Academy. And I'm hoping that it's going to succeed because clearly they've put a lot of money into it. The drivers still have to obviously bring, 150,000 euros or something from themselves, but they have invested, and the big teams have arrived, which is what's really important in terms of not just giving these drivers random cars, but putting the good teams and the big names out there that have not just good equipment, but the experience of how to grow young drivers. That's what it's all about. Because ultimately, when you look at W Series, all of those drivers were unbelievable. Like when you look at Abby Pulling just coming in and what she did as well in terms of how late she came in. So all of these drivers have amazing amounts of talent, but you need to grow it in a certain way. And I think that's why having these big teams like ART in this championship are going to be even more important. I think that's the key aspect right there. So yeah, in terms of me, I'm a big fan of it, but I want to see it succeed. I want Formula One to do the right thing. I want to give it the right exposure as well, because there is a lot of, I think, interest in, women in single seaters, and they need to use that kind of interest to kind of sell the sport for sponsors as well. That's going to be really important. So yeah, I'm going to be keeping a very close eye on it. I still don't quite know what the calendar is in terms of when they're going to start it. So, the drivers are obviously trickling in, and it's, I think that's the only thing that kind of worries me in terms of how late the announcement was at the end of last year. I would have loved for kind of the F1 Academy to almost be sorted and ready for Formula 3, Formula 2, so we can follow it across the season. So that's kind of my one only, when is it going to start? When are all of the drivers going to be there? So yeah, there's still a few questions for me, but I'm very excited to see how it goes. But Formula One now need to double down and support the series that they created.
No, very good to get your take there, Aldas. And speaking of W Series, it was mentioned there, Yasmin. I mean, rumors we're hearing online last week on social media that it might be no more. That'd be a real shame to see it step back, because ultimately F1 promoted this as a stepping stone to that. But it seems we are hearing rumors that W Series, unfortunately, might be coming to an end.
Definitely, yeah. Obviously, it was difficult when we found out that W Series wasn't going to finish their season. It was difficult to hear that. And then obviously things have come out this week in terms of them selling hospitality trailers. And, we've been seeing certain key members of staff in certain departments leaving as well. So, and kind of no adverts being put up for their replacements. And, you'd hope by now that there would be some kind of driver announcements or a calendar or something. And there has just been absolutely nothing, which is obviously really sad to see. But then, we are kind of seeing F1 Academy be kind of slowly but surely kind of taking the place of being what W Series was. And as Aldas said, I think having those big teams involved, having it on the F1 kind of stage and having that F1 name attached to it is obviously going to bring F1 Academy into more of people's thoughts. I do think we're going to miss having a W Series sort of series on an F1 weekend. Obviously, they're only doing it on one weekend, which is hugely disappointing, actually, when they have the opportunity to be able to put it on the calendar. But obviously, it's the first season, it's the first year, let's see how it goes. But I think there was always a question about how W Series and F1 Academy were going to kind of work together as two very similar series in trying to develop young women in motorsport. So it's sad to see it go, but I am glad we've got a replacement. So
yeah, well, we wish, of course, all the drivers, 4 drivers so far, we wish them all the best of luck. Right, there have been announcements in GB3 and Euro Formula Open. We don't have time to go in depth on those, but you can get the latest on the FIA Series socials with those. Aldas, thank you very much for joining us this week. Best of luck with your show at the F1 Arcade. Enjoy it. I mean, say best of luck. Have fun on the sims out there as well. I hope you have a great show, and I'm sure we'll keep our eyes peeled as well for hopefully some more future events.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, first of all, again, thank you so much for having me on. Always great to talk about the FIA Series, and yeah, I can't wait for the live show. And hopefully, I can see both of you guys there. Hopefully, we do another one in the future. So that'd be amazing.
I'll tell you what, a transfer weekly down the F1 Arcade, that would be amazing. So we'll have to get you back next season. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. And Yasmin, I know you're going to have to scramble back now because you're head of social, but thank you for taking the time to join us as well.
Thanks for having me.
This has been episode number 11 of Transfer Weekly. 2 more episodes coming up before we close the series. Then we'll be back for a FRECA special in March. But that is all for this week. Thank you very much for watching. Do like, subscribe, do all of the rest. And we will see you again next week for episode 12. For now, though, it's goodbye.